All right, let's get stuck in. Guys, welcome one, welcome all to another Pinnacle webinar, where in this one today, we're going to be talking about back-end systems. First and foremost, if you're watching this on recording, and guys that are live, whenever you go into the portal, if you don't mind, we are trying to blow up our YouTube at the moment. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. With that being said, we are going to get stuck straight into this one. If you're watching the recording, guys, you've just missed that we've just been speaking with Blade here, who got 150 responses to a text message that we sent out, basically to follow up with people that we generated lead-wise from the hamper. Inside the chat, I'm going to open this up now. Can you see that like expanded on the screen, guys? I don't know whether you can or not, but I'm going to read through this just for the people, just for the purpose of people who are on the recording here, watching the recording. Basically, Blade generated, how many leads you generate, Blade? About 500, was it? Something like that?
Yeah, about 500, 550 roughly. So
500, 550 people. Before we get into today's topic, guys, it's really important I go over this with you to wrap up the hamper strategy. Today is the 1st of February. It is now no longer New Year's, right? So we're going to wrap this up. Blade, to get on top of everything, messaged everyone. How's it going? So a text message here, bulk blast. Hey, how's it going? You entered our New Year's giveaway hamper in December. We've tried to get in touch with you as you are a winner. There are only a few days left to claim your prize. Just reply with yes if you would like to claim it, right? That's it pretty much, okay? Then from there, he had 150 people from about 250 people reply yes. What the next step for Blade to do is to funnel them through into booking in with him directly. You don't want to do this manually and do phone calls, guys. We're at a time now where you want to do this text, volume, wrap it up. We're moving on to more marketing, right? No worries, Daniela. Thanks for getting back to me. What you've won, in case they asked, because Blade said that a few people asked what they'd won. What you've won is a tailored 2023 fitness and nutritional kickstart package. The easiest way to do this or to claim this is by clicking the calendar link here. Insert your calendar link, book in a slot that works for you, and I'll see you at the gym. Now, I want to stress as well, Blade's calendar link is a tailored calendar link that says, what did it say, bro? It's like New Year's Kickstart Fitness Package.
Yeah, something like that. New Year's off the top of my head.
Yeah, let me have New Year's Kickstart Fitness Package. There's 3 main questions. Number 1, what you've won is a Kickstart package where it'll be taking place at the address of his gym, right? Tick the box below if you know where this location is. So you're getting them to approve that they know where it is, right? Number 2, what are your health and fitness goals for the year ahead, right? To help us best prepare for the meeting, something like that. And number 3, is there anything else that you think we should know before our meeting where we can take your fitness goals to the next level, whatever. That's it. 3 simple step process. Blade, do a post inside the group for us. Let the guys know, or we'll just let them know on this time next week how we go. But I expect that you should probably get at least 50 automated consults from this. Show rates, again, being around 75, 80%. Conversion rates, this probably could be exactly what we need, brother.
Yeah. Like it'll be easy enough to tell at least, because since I go through this, it books it straight into my email, and I can just literally count how many it's booked in, so it'll be easy to count how much coming through it.
Exactly. You'll get email notifications of every single booking. So that's it, guys. With that being said, let's get stuck in. So again, just like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and stay tuned for these weekly webinars that are coming your way every week. Topic today is back-end systems for PTs. This is going to be a really engaging webinar today. I'll be honest with you, like I'm going to talk about the time management very briefly, because it's not a time management webinar, but to allow you to do the back-end systems. But what this is today is basically for you guys to come off mute, and we've got around 20 people here, where I just want you to hear what systems you are doing in the back end, and for the guys that you know, are doing the 100 session plus, you know, the multiple trainers and leveraged businesses, what you guys are focusing on, which is what shows what everyone really needs to only focus on when growing a business. And there's a lot of stuff that probably a lot of people are focusing on that don't need to be focused on. We're just going to have a large Q&A around this. All right. So for me to just kickstart it, and then I'll probably hand over to a few people individually, and then we'll have Damo as well. This is for you, bro. So anything that you're looking for, just come off mute and just make your presence heard. Time management is the most important thing that everyone needs to get on top of. It's one of the first things that I will do with everyone, is to ensure that there's enough time allocated inside calendars, because we've all got 24 hours of it per day, 7 days a week. And without maximizing that time, you're going to be behind rather than in front of the 8 ball. And if you're behind, you're behind. If you're in front, you're ahead of the curve. And that's where we want to be. What I would do, guys, is make a work week of a 55-hour work week where you're doing no more than 20 hours PT, 10 hours consults. So it's 30 hours in the gym, max. That's going to enable you, by the way, guys, to be a 6-figure trainer where you're doing around about 2.2 to 2.6 in revenue, which is a solid amount for any PT. A lot of PTs never get the opportunity to hit those heights. 10 consults means you're always going to be able to hit your targets. And then the rest of the time, so you've got 25 hours on top of that, which would consist of, right, admin and social media. Your social media is not really going to consume too much of your time, all right? Neither is admin. The only admin task as your mentor I give a shit about is your business tracker. That's really it. Unless you've got staff, there's no need for you to be doing payroll or anything like that. On that note, bookkeepers, none of you guys should need bookkeepers. Unless you're like Dan, multiple trainers. And like Tane, multiple trainers, right? You sorts of guys, you may have a little bit more admin because of like the nature of like the payroll and stuff like that. And we can look at bringing on assistants and stuff like this. But again, Dan, this is where your expertise and what you do with that large volume of trainers, bro, we'll ask about you shortly. Admin guys shouldn't take a lot of time. Socials, your social media, again, realistically, 5 hours a week max. It's an hour a day, absolute maximum, which is following your daily ritual, guys. Following your daily ritual, which is inside stage 1.2, okay? On top of this, I like to allocate a good amount of time. Lockie, welcome, brother. I like to allocate a good amount of time for growing external relationships. We call them local business partnerships, right? Which we then turn into lead generation mechanisms to funnel leads from outside of your gym, if you're a rental trainer, into it, all right? And this is really important for those of you for like, I mean, Ryan, who's probably floating around somewhere. I think I saw him before. But like guys that are in studios, right? Local business partnerships. What else? It's near enough about it, guys. Like social media, admin, local business partnerships. Like you could even include your own training in those extra 20 hours if you want to train for an hour a day or whatnot, which again is exposure on the floor. There isn't much else that you need to do. Oh, sorry, phone calls. There's another one. I'm trying to do time management modules off the top of my head. Phone calls. 2 to 3 hours a day, but phone calls is realistically, guys, time that you allocate until you hit the targets that's required. Any trainer that wants to get to those levels of 20 hours of PT, half an hour session structure, which means 2.2 to 2.6 in revenue, you need to be doing 8 consults minimum per week. If you're not hitting 8 consults minimum per week, you're not getting to those numbers. Some of you will have seen Chloe, the most recent success story, mini success story, added $1,000 of revenue to her business in the last 2 weeks worth of sales. She's been with us for a month. It's because she's booked in 15 consults per week. It's the most important thing that you guys need to know. If you do not have consults booked in your business, there's no fucking way that you're gonna grow. It's impossible to grow. So if you're working in, or you're going into a work week with 2 consults, that's an example of you being behind the 8 ball. Work in advance is really crucial. And that's pretty much it, guys. So calls, external business relationships or partnerships, bit of admin and social media. And then from there, it's obviously your consults and your PT clients. Marketing, fill the rest of your 55-hour work week with marketing, and that's it. Focusing on growth tasks is really, really important. Who here wants to grow their business currently? I'd be surprised if anyone didn't put their hands up. I put mine up as well. Focus on growth. Simple. If you're not focusing on growth tasks, if you don't have leads, you don't have consults booked, think about it. Can you grow your business this week? No. So what happens is, can your business, or do you have clients? Does anyone here have clients? Should be everybody again. So if you don't have consults booked to grow your business and you have clients, could you lose clients? Yes. So chances are you don't hit your fucking targets, you're going backwards. And it's that simple. That's all it is. Always work in advance. So that's my little breakdown. Questions on that before we sort of bring some people in and focus on these back-end systems in a bit more detail and make sure that you guys can manage that time to ensure you're doing everything right that needs to be done. Any questions on what I've spoken about with those sort of 5 or 6 things? Free for all time. Okay, who have you got? That's it. Erin, take yourself off mute if you're talking to me. Are you talking to me, Erin? There we go.
Yeah, I've just got a question. I don't know if you want me to ask in Voxer, but I'll just say it here and you can let me know.
Yes, say it here.
I don't know, I guess like, I don't have like heaps of clients at the moment, but I had about 20. Like I've got around 20 at the moment. And like, I guess I'm just wondering how to manage like writing up programs. Because like for me, I'm going to have to write up 20 programs like once a month, and it just kind of feels a bit overwhelming. And like I'm trying to obviously grow, so I'm going to get more clients. So I'm just kind of like, how do you manage that?
Jack, why are you laughing, bro? Okay, so Erin, what I need you to do is very simple. Well done for asking that question in here. Was it last week's webinar, guys? Was it? Yeah. Watch last week's webinar. And Erin, this is exactly why I'm really glad I'm seeing you here today. Really glad I'm seeing you here. Prime example of attending these webinars, because we discussed it in detail last week. So without chewing up too much time and going into detail, watch last week.
I did watch it back, but I've obviously forgotten. Sorry. Okay,
so basically we don't do custom and tailored programs for people because it's very time consuming, and a lot of people, I'm just gonna, yeah, okay. We don't do it because it's very time consuming and like a lot of people don't use them. So what we want to do is you want to build a library of them, okay? So we're going to build a library of them where you can just drag them and drop them into people's schedules, right? Again, what you don't want to do is deliver too much value in terms of programs where people can take the programs and they'll go, oh, I've got all the programming now, I don't need Erin. So that's the main thing. Does that make sense, Erin? Thumbs up if it does. Yeah. Little bit. Okay, ask me a question, because again, people will take value from this. So again, come off mute if you want to and ask. Like, what do you need help with? Come off mute.
I guess like I don't know. I find that like my clients like to like follow a structure and stuff, especially when they're on their own. So I don't know. I'm just thinking like when you say pick and choose different exercises, like I use Trainerize, but I just kind of like pick a bunch of exercises, keep that for 4 weeks, and then I think to change it up in 4 weeks.
Okay, you can build a program. So I'm not saying you don't build programs. On Trainerize, you can build a library of programs, correct? Yeah, everybody, you can. What I want you to do is I want you to build a library of programs. And each week or each month, whenever you're doing all of this programming time, right? What I want you to do is just allocate from your library of programs. What I'm saying is this, like, I want you to provide programs. I want you to give them the value. Hell, it's in our packages, right? We got to give you programming to do and stuff like that. But what I do not want people doing, right? And this is a prime example of a back-end waste of time. What we shouldn't be doing is making custom programs for 20 people every single month, which is going to take you hours and hours. Take one day, right, in between clients at the gym while we're doing what we're doing currently as well, which is going really well. So just book the rest of those consults in, Erin, right? Basically, build all these programs. And then you can just customize, like, for example, you've got girls that want bigger glutes. You're going to give them a compound program, you're going to give them a leg program, and you're going to give them a booty building program. Done. Bang, 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 drag and drop. If you've got a guy that wants to improve his upper body strength and lose fat, you're going to give him conditioning session 3.1, and you're then going to give him compounds and also an isolated chest and arms and shoulders exercise program. As you build more and more of these over time, you're going to be able to just allocate them out whenever, because it's not the program that gets the results. It's the consistency and persistency that people put into following the programs, working with their trainer, and that's what's going to get them the results. Does that make sense, Erin? Yeah? Yeah. So, yeah, you're muted again. I muted you because there's loads of cars. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you.
Oh, okay. And yeah, anything you need with that, again, just Voxer, but yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so programming, definitely something that we like at all in the back end, guys. I just don't recommend spending any time on it. So questions about anything else that I spoke about? If not, I'm just going to go straight away. Damo, back end questions. What have you got, bro?
Well, I'd have a lot of questions, but I reckon just, yeah, I'll just wait to hear what you have to say. We'll go through and
cool.
Just
okay. Well, like I've mentioned, I've not got nothing prepared for this, because every single person is different. So I can't say like what you should be doing and shouldn't, because there's no right or wrong. The one thing I can tell you is the time management aspect. Every entrepreneur, if you're not working 55 hours a week, you probably could squeeze a few more hours in. Like 55 hours a week is not a massive work week. I'm just being honest. For some people it might be, but I'm just being honest. Like as an entrepreneur, what it personally took me to get to those levels, like 55 was minimum, and it was enough. At a push, 65. I had a guy who came on board yesterday. He's doing 75 to 80 hour work weeks as a PT on his own, no staff. So that's something that I need to help him change straight away. So, okay, Dan, what do you got? What do you got for us, Dan? Back end, what do you do with your wealth of time? Because you have a leveraged business model, brother.
All right. So obviously, you know, we've leveraged and we've structured it very well. So just being very organized with my back end stuff would be being organized with the times that I do my boxes, calls, consults, all that kind of stuff. So just very organized with that. So I do boxes every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, guaranteed. And then on the other days, I'll just respond back to whoever messages me. But now I only go in the mornings. I used to just be on it all day and just be responsive. I took off my notifications so I can be a lot more organized. Yeah. But my back end stuff is really like what you just spoke about, programming. I've got a lot of programs. And once you've got a lot of clients, you realize that everyone's quite similar. Even if someone's got something that's quite unique, as far as, you know, like if they've got back injury you need to work around or whatever, most of my programming is very like streamlined. So I'm going to do 2 onboarding emails after this. It'll probably take me like 5 minutes per email. Yeah. Again, because of that organization. So a lot of that back end stuff is just compiling programs and just being organized with your time. But I also do my, I've got Woofu forms that I send out for my weekly trackers on a Sunday. Check-ins, yep. So I basically just send them out. People will respond, and then I'll just send them a boxer as well. So, yeah, I don't know.
It's ironic that you don't
have questions.
It's ironic that you don't have much to say, and you've got like one of the largest scaled businesses, right? That's where you want to be. I'm going to approach this slightly different, right? Because again, guys, what this is going to come down to is prioritization of the right things that we need to do to get you to where your goals are, right? And it's that simple. So for example, Tane right now looking at leveraging and training up a new trainer, and we've got a few other bits going on. Erin finishing off floor to the floor and running a little competition, booking in calls. Josh getting new member lists from the gym, etc., etc. Everyone's got their own little stuff they've got going on at the moment, right? What I want every single one of you to do in the comments section, we'll attack it like this. Name one structure that you do in your business that's a non-negotiable, that is part of your back end mechanisms. Take time now, just write something, right? And write it to make sure that it's to everyone. And then what we'll do is we'll categorize these in terms of how long it should take. And then from there, you put it into your calendar to make sure it's done. I mean, as people just write these in, and I'm waiting, so just write something in that you do, right? Because the chances are they'll all be serious, they'll all be similar. So what we'll then do is put them into a category of how important they are. And a lot of what the problems people will have is prioritization of, again, the most important tasks. Do you find, Damo, just while people are writing in the comments, there's only 2 people so far, there's 20-something people on here, so everyone write something in. Damo, do you find that you're spending a lot of time doing monotonous tasks and or things that just don't really get you anywhere and don't progress you?
Like, I guess I feel like the tasks that I do, I'm not being as efficient with it. So I feel like I'm spending more time on things. So I'm always trying to find efficient ways. As I get busier and the business is growing now, like, I guess as a sole trader, you never really focus too much on all of these systems in the back end. You just do what needs to be done when it needs to be done. But like now, because I'm looking to scale and bring on a trainer, I'm trying to go, okay, how do I formalize all this?
Yes.
And what do I need to have in place and what don't I? Like, what am I just wasting time on?
Yes.
And what, for me, like, if we're, questions here, so the back end for me is like follow-ups, like programming, onboarding, scheduling, check-ins, consultations, sales, like referrals, like what systems do I need to have in place?
Yeah.
So that I need to have something prepared and ready for it rather than just like on the fly sort of like doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
So and sorry, just to butt in one last time, and I guess why I'm like, I really want to learn about the backend system, because like for follow-ups programming, like there's so many different programs that you can use, right? But the principle is the follow-up, or the principle is the programming. So like almost like I'm trying to create my own like template of these are essential systems within your business. Now, whether you use TrueCoach or PT Minder or Trainerize, whatever, it's like use whatever works for you. But you got to have like a system around programming. Or when you do check-ins like Voxer, Messenger, WhatsApp, like, but got to have a system around check-ins, like consultations. Like, it can't just be how are you? It's like, here's a form. Like, where do we get that form from? Have a form there, whether that's Sheets, Excel, job form, whatever it is. So I guess for me, it's like, I'm just trying to, because when I bring someone in, it's like I want all areas of the business to be structured in a way, and if not, like work on that. So as the business grows, it's like all the SOPs are all in place as such. But that's the question. It's like, what am I missing? What do I need? Like, even when I'm making notes here, because as you know, my time's pressed, I'm just like, right now, systems will grow, but I just need clean systems right now. I can't be wasting time or having inefficient systems. I need just like clean systems right now, and it will grow and expand obviously as we go. So
100% right. What I'm going to say directly just between me and you, bro, make a list of every single fucking thing you're doing. Send it to me in a list format on Boxer, and I'm going to just go cross, tick, 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 tick. And I'm going to I'll try and do that now inside here. So we're going to go through a lot. And so here we go. We've probably got 20 on here. We're going to go through these. This is my top 5 things though. If you want to write these down, guys, the top 5 things that you should be doing, right? And this is I'll try and put it in order. The first one, you're not going to like it, but it is the fucking go-to. Number 1, if you want to be an operator and if you want to be on a scale like Mr. Pardo, or if you want to be a scale like Tane, or where Damo's going, or Michael, or any of the guys like Nathan with trainers, like any single person, Phil Perg, prime example, and all the other guys that never attend these webinars, right? You do a business tracker weekly, every week, without fail. The reason why you do it is because it gives you clarity on what you're doing in the business. It gives you vision over, am I doing enough marketing? Am I generating enough leads? Have the consults been booked? Am I working in advance? right? And it gives you clarity with all that. And it shows you the growth rate of the business as well at the bottom, which we automate in a formula. If you don't do this, it's because of two reasons. It's either, number one, you don't want to confront yourself with where your business is at and the numbers that it's generating, and it scares you. If that is the case, right? And has anyone ever felt that before? I don't want to look at my numbers this week. There will be loads of you, right? I used to do it, right? You are not going to attract anything positive into your life from not confronting yourself when things aren't going the way that you want them to go through, or the way you want them to go. You need to confront yourself. If you have 6 or 7 clients drop off, right, you need to confront yourself with that. Do it regardless. And then we need to look at, I need to see it, guys. If you want the best form of coaching from me, I need to see where your numbers are at. If not, I'm just going to look, I'm going to seem like I'm winging the coaching. And then you're going to go, Simon's fucking, his quality's dropped. He's just winging it. Well, I can't see shit. I need to see it. I need to see the tracker. I do look at them all, every single one. So you do a tracker. The next things that you do, guys, is this. Every week, especially Damo, where you're looking at, so tracker, next, consult target, right? So more importantly than the leads, which ironically you need to hit the consult target, you need to make sure in advance, in capital letters, guys, right? Back-end system, you are allowing enough time to call people in advance to book them for the next week, right? To do that, you need leads, right? So marketing. Damo as well, for you, it'll be a 10-hour block per week that we're going to focus on marketing. We haven't really marketed, bro. Let's be honest. I haven't even heard about like how your leads have gone that you generate for the hamper. And it's because of obviously all these back-end systems you want clarity on. Then we can play catch up like Blade has done with his message. I suggest that everybody, if you've still got hamper leads, do Blade's message that he did, get up to speed. So you need leads, which means marketing. Third on the list, it's marketing, right? Number 4, which kind of ties in with number 2, is calls, right? Ironically, guys, these all link into, it's all the data that's summarized in number 1, the business tracker. These are the most important back-end systems that you focus on if you want your business to grow. There's no fluff around like doing what I've been asking you, Alex, right? So, which still I haven't even fucking downloaded the apps, right? And I haven't done it, and I'm not prioritizing it yet, but I will. But creating content, right? Doing amazing looking content, which Alex does really well as an online trainer. Like thinking, oh, what should I post today? That's all fluff. It's all rubbish. Like worrying about algorithm performance, like we spoke about Tam. Rubbish. Like it doesn't really matter right now. You got to focus on business tracker, consult targets, all right, then obviously your marketing, then making calls, all right, making calls. Then I would say here, number 5, for those of you who've got trainers, it's management of staff. So your meetings that you've got with them. Otherwise, it would just be overall client meetings. So rather than putting your time into your staff who manage the clients, right, and doing check-ins with them with meetings, right? And obviously you're doing your Voxers and stuff like that. So if you're running a leverage business model, you'll know how we use Voxer to secure your business and to make sure that your clients are loyal to you, right? You are the pillar that they're loyal to, not the trainers. But if not, it's direct check-ins with the clients rather than direct check-ins with your trainers. That for me is my top 5 things, back-end systems that you should always be focusing on. Now, what do these back-end systems do? What they do, guys, is they actually generate growth. They move your business forward. They make sure that everyone is getting what they need. Nath, this is really important for you today, brother, as well. I don't know whether you got my last voice message, bro, but this is what has to be done from now on, right? If you focus on this shit, you are going to do nothing other than grow, right? And I'm not saying that growth is always on the forefront of people's minds. It's not. Shouldn't be. So a lot of times we need to just stop. We need to, again, make sure that we're ticking the boxes. Also something, guys, we need to make sure we're also doing is we're all having fun. If you're not enjoying running a business, we need to make sure that you are. So if you ever find that this isn't fun for me right now, right? And Tam, we spoke about this. I've spoken about it with a lot of people as well. we need to fucking make sure that you're having fun. If you're not having fun, this is pointless. You might as well go work in a 9 to 5 because that ain't fun. And most people don't have fun in 9 to 5s, just being perfectly honest, they don't. So that's my top 5. Those are the back end systems. Now we're going to go through this list now. Anything on that, guys, just before we go through the list here, and I'll show you what needs to be cut, what you don't want to focus on, what does need to be focused on. And does that help, Damo, as well as like a fundamental top 5?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Because that is it. If I'm honest, the rest of it, and we'll go through stuff here, which some of it needs to be cold. So we'll go through this list now. We've got everyone's stuff here. Any questions so far about those things?
Quick one about the client meetings. When you say client meetings, what do you necessarily mean by that?
Okay, when I mean, so that's probably just, I've mumbled my words. Trainers have trainer meetings. So Dan will have non-negotiable meetings with all of his trainers to again, think about it from a 9 to 5 perspective. You've got a boss. That boss might oversee 5 business development managers. He'll have a meeting with those BDMs who will then look after people underneath them, right? So you're going to have a meeting with your staff. That's what I show you how to do when we leverage and secure the business. If you don't have staff, it's not meetings with your clients. It's doing the back end stuff, which is like ensuring they're getting results, which is the check-ins, right? The woo-foo forms that Dan said, making sure that, you know, whatever you're doing, processes you're using as a coach to hold them accountable to take action are getting done. Even if you don't have check-in forms, because they're not essential. They're not. The PT session log, making sure that mother is getting filled in every session. I could talk about this for years, and I will be talking about it for the next few years anyway. This PT session log is everything in a document. So that's what I mean with like client check-ins. Like, could be just looking through your folders and making sure that you're doing all your SOPs, your standard operating procedures that you need to be ticking off, making sure that you're following what I've showed you how to do in stage 2, and you know what I mean, 2.1. So hopefully that helps play. Dan, what do you got?
Just on that, whether it's right or wrong, I thought I'd have a bit of insight with my team meetings. Yeah. Sometimes when it comes to management, you got to be quite, like, I guess, perspicacious of what's going on. Sometimes it's really hard to get all 4 people in at the same time if they've got different schedules and whatever. Like, so I sometimes will just meet with them individually. I'll probably do fortnightly catch-ups, but most of the time I'm so on top of the clients and everything that we end up just kind of doing team building stuff and doing, fun shit. But exactly. I'll meet with my trainers during the week anyway. I'll also get them to do like a check-in with me with all of their clients and give me feedback on how all the sessions went. So I've actually got a log of how everyone went, because that helps me with my coaching. This person was late, this person didn't turn up, this person smashed it. It keeps them engaged, it keeps me engaged, so I'm on top of everything. So when we actually have the meetings, I don't really have too much growth shit to discuss, and we end up just kicking it,
That's exactly right. And that's how it should be. Again, like I said before with Dan, isn't it ironic that Dan has got 4 trainers or 5 trainers, and he wraps up his back-end systems in like 30 seconds. Do you know what I mean? It's ironic. It's ironic. So again, you want to make sure you're always on top of, like, that last point is just making sure, again, that we're getting results through whatever systems you've got in place, which I've given you mine, PT session log, and the PT folder setup, which has got pyramid to success. It's got their nutrition in there. You work out their you work out their base metabolic rate, so their BMR, gives them the calorie stuff, combined with the nutrition with MyFitnessPal. As long as all that's getting done and that's working in the background, that system, that structure is working, that will be popping out clients' results. Then you focus your other energy on filling up your business with more clients. The rest is all fluff, realistically. So that's it. Like, I'm going to go through this list now. So Voxer check-ins, that is only for leverage trainers, right? Only for leverage trainers. Nath does it. Dan does it. Tane does it. Maybe Michael does it. Who else have we got here with trainers? That's about it for this current batch. So Voxer check-ins, for you guys, that could be if you're giving any form of accountability to clients outside of your sessions. And here's another thing, do not use Voxer with clients unless you have staff, please. It is a crucial part of leverage that we use as an ace in the hole to leverage your business, okay? If you have used Voxer with clients and you don't currently have a trainer because they've moved on, because there's a couple people maybe that are like that, continue to offer it. But don't give Voxer intimate communication with your clients unless you have staff. So that's the first one from Dan Pardo. Onboarding of new clients from Tane. So your onboarding process, again, this is something which is a back-end system. It may be creation of a profile for them on Trainerize, right? It may be allocation of some programs, nutrition, right? Or setting up their BMR, calculating this stuff. A lot of this stuff, guys, I recommend you do in that first session. If you look on the PT session log, the first session is automatically filled out, which is a kickstart session that you do with them to onboard them after you sell them, right? That stuff there, I would be doing inside that session. And this is the reason why I recommend you do that session. It's so that you don't have to onboard a ton of clients in your own time. Yes, you've got to do it in your time in the gym, but you're better doing it onboarding with the client so if they have questions, they ask you. A good side note as well, onboarding of clients at scale, use video training, right? Like Charmaine's got a really good load of content. I'm not too sure whether you do, Tane, but use video trainings that you can send to people. And you could even put everything into an email or to a copy and paste message. Step 1, download MyFitnessPal. Step 2, watch this video on how to use MyFitnessPal. Step 3, log into Trainerize. Step 4, your programs will be done in the next 24 hours. Do you know what I mean? Basically, guys, that's what you want to have happen. You want to have happen, all right? Automate it with videos, so there's that. Okay, weekly check-in form on True Coach from Sherry. Again, spot on. That is a back-end system if you're doing check-in forms. Like, this is something that will be time-consuming. I recommend that you have a check-in form when you are leveraged because it enables you to see where the guys are at. Your face-to-face trainers can keep your clients accountable to do the check-in forms, and then you can go through them and check them out and basically go through there, right? Go through there. That's exactly what you're going to want to do, all right? Go through the forms. It's going to take you some time, though, so just beware. Don't get it twisted. The most important thing is a PT session log. Check-in forms, though, like Dan does, and again, like Sherry does, you can do them. Okay, social media content. This is something here that we're going to spend a little bit of time on, but not too much. Look, you don't need to be spending a lot of time on this. You don't, period. Guys, what you are doing in your sessions is you're collecting social proof. You collect social proof in the sessions and you just post it. So again, for you guys, I don't know whether anyone's seen it. Like the Facebook algorithm is a little bit shitty at the moment. Posted a video yesterday of Chloe. She chucked $1,000 of reoccurring revenue onto her business in 2 weeks worth of sales. All I do is I get that, I collect the social proof, right? You guys do the same thing. And all I do is I post it, I put a catchy title, PT adds $1,000 per week for a reoccurring revenue to business. Before, she was lost, had no idea, and questioning what to do. Now she has $1,000 extra revenue, clarity, and is pumped for the future. Post, that's it. That stuff took me about 5 minutes to do, and that's it. And all social media content does, right, is keep your audience, right? It's essential you have an audience. A lot of people focus on doing social media content when they've got 100 friends, of which no one's seeing their content anyway because the algorithm's not pumped up. It's pointless. A lot of people think content's everything because they think, oh, because I've got a page here, like millions of people are going to see it. They're not going to see it. So don't overcomplicate it. But what you've got to do is, if you're following your social media stuff, like I say, about an hour a day, and you're doing the stuff in 1.2, you're adding people, you're messaging them great to connect messages, you're following our online funnel, right? You're posting content so that these new people see all the time, they see what results you're getting. That's how I signed a guy up yesterday. That's exactly how. He said, dude, I saw what you've done. I've seen your content. I need to get on a call with you as soon as possible. All right, look, okay, let's go for it. That's why you post a social proof. But I've got the back end systems running so that people are seeing it. So don't overcomplicate social media content unless you are executing 1.2 day in, day out. Daily ritual, guys. Daily ritual. Local business partnerships from Lucky, spot on. We spoke about that before. I recommend that you're doing that for around about 4 hours a week. Someone like Ryan, someone like Aaron, who's just jumped on board here. Will, this is probably something that we will do. Don't know whose iPhone, but anyone else, even Alex, for you, brother, I think this is something that's huge. Lucky, because of the lead generation nature of our gym. Again, you've put that in there yourself. I recommend allowing 4 hours a week for this. If anyone wants to do this at any time, just let me know. We did spend a lot of time doing this throughout Christmas and New Year, but that would go into a back-end system. All right, so that's that. Making sure clients are being accountable. Now, here's personally, like, I wouldn't call that a back-end system, Sue. The reason why is because I could spend, and I do, and when a lot of you guys know me very well, I consider you friends. A lot of the clients that have been with me for years, like Nathan and Dan, Tane and Charmaine, Michael, like Aaron, you guys get to see a vulnerable side of me, right? I'm a fucking human being. A lot of the time when I'm not on my game and I get emotional or I be a real freaking person, which I'm happy to be, guys. I'm an open book. Do you know what I mean? You guys can take learnings from it. A lot of the reason why I am not always 100% on my game is because I pile far too much energy into people that should be accountable, but are not. And I get more mentally invested about their own goals than they give a shit about them themselves. Does that make sense? Be very, very careful. It is dangerous for your own mental health to give a shit about people and their fitness goals more than they care about it themselves. Let me say that again. It is very, very dangerous for your mental health and in life in general to give a shit about anybody, just being a nice person and caring about people, but it's dangerous for your mental health when you give a shit about people more than they give a shit about it themselves. Don't do it. So I would personally remove that from your back end, because for me, that is one of the biggest causes of anxiety for me. And it's because I want them to succeed so bad, but they just don't want to themselves.
So Simon, it's more like they'll send me how many steps they took when they're not at the gym. It's more like they do like that. So then whenever I'm in the gym with them and they're training, yeah, I write down all their things and then we discuss how they did. So it's not that stressful and it's not that much time.
That's cool. So check-in forms, like check-in form solidifies like all of that. So you can do it. You can do a check-in form with it, like I do on Voxer with you guys. Like those weekly check-ins, they're there to help you and to help me. I do them for a reason. It's not because I want to be a ball ache and fucking give you more work to do. It's because I need to know if you want the best version of me. Do you know? If you don't do those check-ins, which I can guarantee there's 30 people on there that haven't, right? I guarantee. Ironically, they're the people that aren't engaged. Ironically, they're the people that I'm going to then start to get more invested in mentally, drain myself, waste my mental energy, when realistically, I just need to leave them be. I need to leave them be, right? So be careful. But yeah, a little summary form will enable you to do that. You can automate these forms. You can automate them, all right? Okay, calling leads to booking consultations, amen. That's a great one, Erin, because again, that is part of what we want to do. I recommend you do calls, guys, until. So you might be sort of like budgeting now in your head, like how much time you want to spend on all these things, these back-end systems. For me, calls always are on a Friday. And if I need to, you roll over on a Saturday to ensure you're booking consults for the next week. Again, there's nothing more, especially in like a Damon position right now, where you've got so much stuff that you need clarity on. But then on top of that, you lose 3 clients, you've got no consults booked, and that will give you freaking anxiety, right? Knowing that you can't move the business forward. Again, like I say, the importance of working in advance. So calls, definitely. Client daily food tracking and check-ins. Again, Michael, perfect. This is done on a check-in form. So the more and more we talk about it, like I say, like Dan said that his Wufoo form that he uses, essential part of what he does. I'm saying that you can do them if you want to, but the more and more this continues, it's becoming more and more of a integral part of what people are doing. So I recommend doing a check-in form. Ways in which you can then respond to that is, Dan, how do you respond to your check-in forms? Do you just Voxer people? I'm guessing you just Voxer them updates.
Yep. So I basically on Friday, I'll do my Voxers. I'll send the Wufoo form and I give them Friday, Saturday, or Sunday to kind of fill it out. Everyone's got different schedules. I go through on a Sunday and I go through all my emails, read them, and I analyze them and give them my response on a Sunday. Then from that point, I'll just copy and paste a game plan, which is just 4 questions, very similar to what you do.
Yeah.
So it's not another form, and just preface and forecast for a good week. So it's very streamlined, but we're analyzing the week in depth. We're coming up with a game plan. It probably takes me like a minute or 2 minutes to do, and they feel really looked after. So
that's the point here, guys. Like if you can get your clients to feel, which is essentially important for Daniel's position as a leveraged business owner, for your clients to feel looked after personally, that's exactly what you need to have. All right. Now this stuff, it can be consuming, but you've got to manage it in a way where it is manageable and doesn't consume too much of your time. Charmaine, was that a hand?
Yeah. I put my check-in forms within Trainerize, so you can do an automated message. You do it every Thursday. You just put a link in there just to save you time on emailing Dan if you're wanting it to do it that way. I don't know whether you knew it.
Yeah, I've pretty much, like, even with my systems of onboarding people, I could probably go on Trainerize, but I've kind of got accustomed to it. It doesn't take me too long. I can just literally copy and paste the Wufoo form. As I'm doing a box, I just send it. So I probably might look into Trainerize, but then I'm going to have to kind of revamp everything, and it's kind of working right now. So maybe down.
You don't have Trainerize?
No.
Yeah.
Dan's like
with my ClickFunnels, I made a ClickFunnels where I've kind of got I shot all the videos and exercises, and I send that link with my onboarding emails. And I've just got that many templates that it's just so much easier for me to just compile it and send it to people.
Yeah, cheaper too.
Exactly right. Remember, like what I give you in the portal is what I used to use, and then what I say to modify it or to modernize it is you put everything onto an iPad, right? You can use Trainerize, PT Distinction, whatever you want to use as an app. It's up to you, but I guarantee there'll be something, and this is why everyone has the question, what is the most important app? What can I use? Because everyone's looking for the perfect solution. You'll never find it, but Dan does things the way that I used to do it, which means it's fully tailored to how you like, document form, right? And just send it out to everybody. Damo, what do you got?
So yeah, one question would be, so we're talking obviously about all these systems processes. So I've just read there in the group. So obviously we went over like the top 5 things.
Yeah.
I've added in like things that I think are very essential as well, because we talk about it all the time. So like social media posting, like our VIP group content, client programming. So if we were to talk about like Monday to Sunday, like I guess how this system would work, like what would it look like from a week point of view? And why I say this as well is because these are obviously all essential. And I know, like working with you, right? Like you have a process. Every Monday we get the check-in from you. Friday, Thursday, Friday we get the other one. So that's in your system, right? So what would you, if these are what we would call like the essentials, what do you believe as trainers running a high-end PT business? I guess that's what we're all here to do. Like, what do you see as like the non-negotiable? Like, all right, every Sunday you should be on your business tracker. Monday comes check-in. Programming is done on Saturdays. Like, how do you see like the weekly schedule, like that is a non-negotiable?
Love it. All right, so Sunday's business tracker day. For me, that was always done. Dan is the best person at communicating with me. Every Sunday, Dan sends me voice messages saying, "Happy Monday, brother. Hopefully you're doing well." He's sending that on a Sunday, knowing that I'm going to open it on a Monday. So Dan hustles on Sundays. I used to hustle on Sundays. Now I have 2 things called kids that require me to hustle elsewhere. So basically, hustle on a Sunday and get your business tracker done and set yourself up for the week. The calls, Damo, so this is big. Friday and Saturday is calling time to hit targets, to then fill in the business tracker on the Sunday for the week ahead. Yeah. And then what you're doing when you do that on a Sunday, you wrap up the business tracker with the data from last week, with the consults, the conversions, and then obviously you do it again, right? With, where's the, have you got a, did you write a list? Okay, business tracker, that's Sunday. Consults. So what I would do for consults, guys, I would allocate 2-hour block, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning, and 2-hour block, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday evening. You could put then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2-hour block or an hour block or whatever in the daytime. That's it, right? Do not use all of your availability. And this is something that could be, again, mentally stressful for a lot of you guys. That we're running over today, guys. I'm just giving you a heads up. We're going to be going for a little bit longer. That like, you might be stressed, like, am I allowing enough time for consults? Am I booking them in at free will? Right? If you're booking consults in at free will, mixing them in between clients, again, no structure, right? I would put in consult slots that are non-negotiably always for consults, right? If you're fully booked, it's going to be hard for you to do that. You're going to have to slot them in everywhere, but that's what I would be doing, right? Non-negotiable consult slots where you know there's enough availability for your leads to book in somewhere. Marketing is daytime. Marketing is done in the daytime or in between clients in the mornings and the evenings. For example, if we're running a floor to the floor strategy or a giveaway where you need to walk the floor, right, the correct way, you're doing it in between the clients or at busy times. But marketing, guys, is done in downtimes. PTs, we work morning and evening. Therefore, the days can be long. You've got to use the day in between to rest and also do stuff like marketing. All right, prep for strategies. Calls Friday afternoon until you hit your targets. Call times though is really tough, guys, depending on where you are. Like, you might want to make calls different times of the day. It might work for you in your state, your country, your freaking area of the world that the phones are hotter at certain times. So whenever you want to do your calls, that's fine. The main thing, in advance for the week after. Don't go into a week going, how many, like with my check-in, and this is why I've started doing like, how many consults have you got booked for the week? Because I don't get enough business trackers. When people say they've got 2, you're behind, man. You're chasing. Don't be behind the 8 ball, be ahead of it, be ahead of the curve. So calls whenever you want, but I used to do Friday afternoon and then finish on Saturday morning. So then you can go and kick it, brother, in South Melbourne, St Kilda Beach, do whatever you want to do with the missus, go for a meal, have a beer, whatever, and know that next week you have got 8 to 15 consults booked, right? Whatever it is. That's that. Staff / client check-ins. Staff ones is a meeting non-negotiably every single week. Your client check-ins, I used to, when I was with my online PT, so I was doing a check-in on a Thursday with him. Thursdays seem to work really well with client check-ins. I liked it because then if I was going to go and have a cheap meal, I could go and do that on a Friday night, and then I'd have 6 days to burn off the extra cows, right? Thursdays work well, but then it's up to you. It really is up to you, whatever you do with client check-ins. But I find that for your client flexibility, Thursdays do work well, and then you can give them feedback before the end of the week. So you'd be doing like, you'd send them out on Thursday and then you'd expect them to be done, feedback given on a Friday. So you could do your calls and then your client check-ins after. Yeah.
So one check-in a week, you recommend, not like a start and end a week?
Yeah, no multiples. Like what I do with you guys is high ticket, high level accountability for business owners. You can't expect the people that want to lose 5 kilos, 10 kilos to put in the same amount of effort that I expect you guys to do with me. Like I don't, because you guys are high level functioning entrepreneurs. Like it's, do you know what I mean? Like you guys are working with people like shit. These guys like, nah, they're just not going to reply. Like, dude, this is what I say to a lot of people. When you start sending check-in forms and stuff like that, expect that 50% of them won't get done, right? And again, like I said, get very, very careful with how much energy mentally you put into people, because a lot of them just won't take action. Why? Who knows? Like, I want to hire a coach, but then I don't want the coach. Like, do you know what I mean? So be careful with that one, but only one. Social media content and posting, there is no right or wrong time, guys. And again, don't overcomplicate it. Collect social proof in the sessions that you are with your trainers, or in the sessions that you're there with your clients. When you've got the social proof, which again, the best form of social proof, Charmaine put a good one up yesterday, right? It's her with a client saying, and this one was like, this journey is coming to an end. Another good journey coming to an end. Achieved, tick, tick, tick. That's a really good post. And it's just her there, like with a good background in the gym, arm around the client, done. You guys can collect 10 pieces of social proof every day if you're taking 10 sessions. Easy, don't overthink it. VIP group content demo, really, really good one, this. Can be overcomplicated again. Your VIP group content needs to be different from the content that you post on your personal wall. It needs to be more valuable. It needs to actually like be more tips, tricks, like here's a recipe, whatever. Dude, what I would do is just choose 1 hour per week, put it into your calendar and actually sit down and stick to that hour where you are dedicating yourself to doing one piece of content for that group. So it might be a case of, right, I've got an hour, I've just gone and done a workout, I need my post-workout shake, I'm going to record myself doing it, right? And then you might use CapCut, is that right, Alex? Did I get it right? Yeah, you use that to like chop the video up, put some shit over the top of it, post it. Once a week, bro. Don't again, that stuff there, again, think about it. Anything, this is huge, guys. Any form of value that you want to give to your clients or prospects in that matter that you want to convert to clients, that you put hours and hours into, think about it. It is not up to you whether or not that content is consumed. So don't let it consume you creating it or taking hours to create it. Because again, and a lot of people that do this, the work, like the most, they have the worst amounts of followings. Like, it's really ironic, like people that post so much, like if you've got less than 1,000 friends, it's pointless. You're getting no exposure. Like, people aren't going to see it. So don't do your head in about content when your audience isn't there, right? If you've got an audience, if you're like Dan, you've got 20,000 followers or whatever, right? I'd be pumping that a bit more, right? And that's where obviously we focus. And then client programming, Damien, I'd literally do, like, again, it depends up to you, bro. You want to do it in a month block. So if you want to give a 3-day split to a client who's doing 2 sessions a week with you, so they want to train 5 times a week, those 3 programs, you want to run them. I recommend, guys, you run them for a month. So you're programming once a month on a down day time that you've got, just go and drag new programs. However, only do new programming if the programs aren't working currently, or if they're not getting results. And if they're not getting results, guys, it ain't going to be the program that's the problem. I worked, when I lost all that freaking weight that I did recently, how many programs did I have in a 7 or 15 to 16 month time frame? 2. 17 months, 2 programs. That's it. This is the thing, guys. The most common failure of PTs, especially face-to-face PTs, face-to-face, because you're working with people who need accountability, right? That's why they say, I don't want an online trainer because I need someone in the gym there for me. They ain't executing shit. If they execute, they will get results. I stuck to the same program and focused on progressive overload, right? And when I logged my results in Trainerize, you know, my bench would go from like sets of 10 at 60 to 65 to 70 to 80 to 90, and my strength goes up, right? I didn't change the program. So don't think about, like, one of the most common things people overcomplicate. Oh, I think they're going to get bored, right? And there was times where I would get bored and ask Ben, my coach, can I have a new program? He's like, brother, fucking just get the programs done. All right. And it gives you the kick in the ass that you need. Go to the gym, have a great workout. Don't overcomplicate the programming. That there, bro, I think that's your list. Does that give you a bit more clarity there, Damo, on that list specifically in a time managed format?
Yeah, absolutely. Because like one problem that I have is the ability to like not to switch off, right?
Yeah.
So having boundaries in my life to go, okay, like Sunday is business tracker day. So I'm not going to think about it for the other 6 days. I'll wait till Sunday.
Yeah.
Check in. So yeah, it's sort of getting those essentials and just understanding like where they should be and what's like, I guess like the minimum that I need to be doing. Because sometimes, you know, a check-in can slip and then, you know, a week goes by where you don't do your business tracker and then it's like you lose that discipline. But because you haven't set that plan or you're not sure on that plan, you don't put the importance around it. So that's where like it's like we can overcomplicate things where it's like, no, it's pretty simple, just get it done.
All of this really comes down to time management. Like, and that's why I said at the start, like all I'm going to do is outline like time management of how many hours you should be doing for certain things. I think that list that we've just gone through there, which is consistent of business tracker, consults, marketing and calls, your staff and client check-ins, social media / posting in your VIP group, and programs. Take that, and this is the icing on the cake, guys. You've got a 55-hour work week, and that for me is a minimum that an entrepreneur should work. Take that and put all those things in the time brackets that I went through at the start, and then what your job is, fucking follow it. That is the hardest part. The hardest part is following structure. It's following it and executing it. Especially when you're in a bit of a role where you wing things, right? When you're winging it, and you're like me, Damo, like unless, and I'll be honest, unless I drink alcohol, unless I have a beer at the weekend, I ain't switching off. I'm not joking, and I'm just being honest. Me and Dan always share messages about having a Jaeger, right? And fucking having fun, right? We're all human beings. I enjoy having a beer. I take my kids out, which stress me out as well enough. Have a beer, fucking switch my head off. Without that, right, I'm working daily, every day. Like, I love what I do. And that's what you're like, Damo. That's what, again, Alex is like. That's what Dan's like. All of you guys, you love what you do. And it's hard to switch off. So time manage it in a way where when you know it's done and you get to Friday afternoon, you hit your 8 consult target quota, you do your check-ins that the guys did on Thursday and you've received a few. The guys that haven't sent the check-ins, send them a reminder message, get it done, right? If you notice that they haven't got it done, then by Sunday or Monday, you're going to have a chat with them in the next PT session and say, what's going on in here? Because there's something stopping them. Get it done so that you can enjoy the weekends and switch your head off. It's so important, you know what I mean? And hopefully this format, Damo, will be able to enable you to do that.
I think that's the most important point, Simon, is like, there's an element where we're all hardwired that way and we're not going to be able to switch off. Doesn't matter how good the systems are. Obviously, you want to systemize things to a point where you feel very organized, but perfection can also equal paralysis in that point where I remember when I started, I wanted the best, you know, check-ins and this and that. Now you just do it to the best of your ability, be organized, and then you can tackle one thing at a time as well. Just make sure that you get the tasks that you need to get done as a bare minimum so you can switch off. That even if you had all the perfect systems, you're still probably going to find yourself not being able to switch off. And that's where priority management comes in and time management as well.
100% right. And this is where it'll give you anxiety. Like, anxiety is common, right? Regardless of the scale of which you get it. I get it. I've told you guys many a times, I cannot put Voxer down until I find a window where I scroll and there's no little orange outstanding numbers, and I close it and that's it. I'm an anxiety-free person for the day then, because I know every single person has heard from me, which is hard because obviously messages keep coming in and I've got to try and keep up with it. But that's my anxiety. That's what I do. But I have closure when it is done. So like, and again, it's time management. I have a window 5, 6 a.m. until about 9, 10. Get it done inside that time, right? And finish so that you can function, and then you move on to the next task. You move on to the next piece of time managed tasks that you have. It's about putting them into time management and just making sure you execute. Otherwise, your anxiety will be through the roof. You'll be behind. You won't want to do your business tracker. You won't want to confront yourself with the numbers, and it starts to unravel, right? It's not like time management's one of the hardest things, and especially when you've got all this long list of stuff that you know you need to do, really is important that you actually do it. And
Hi, Simon.
yes, Ray.
You just right. Well, I'm just curious. Do we have to? Should we do our own checklist up then for people once a week? Because I actually thought that we would contact them daily until you clarified that it will be weekly. So should we do it? I make up a checklist form, or do we have one in there?
I do have one. Can you just message me on Voxer written and say send checklist example?
Okay.
Dan, I don't know how easy it is for you, Dan, if you can get yours quick and type it in the comments here, but Will, no problem, my man. But I can give you my one. Now, the one that I give you, it's not mine, but it was the one that my coach gave me when I was with him for 15, 16 months or whatever. It's detailed. It's really detailed. It's like calories daily, water consumption, protein targets, like it's detailed. And what I say to people is, if you want to build a check-in form, we'll spend some time on this now, guys, for all the people that are hanging around. Build a check-in form. I think it's useful. The key here is this: if the check-in form doesn't get done, it shows your clients aren't engaged. So you can use the check-in form as like a tripwire if you want, all right, to see who's engaged. That's what I do with my weekly written check-ins as well, right? People, no worries, Alex, see you soon. For people that don't do their check-ins, it just shows they're either frazzled or their time management's not good enough, whatever. But when you do a check-in form, make sure you don't overcomplicate it. So I have an example. I'll send it to you, Ray. If anyone wants me to send that to them, just message me on Voxer. No worries, Nate, and just say, you know, send me check-in form example. Just don't, be aware of the type of clientele you're working with, right? So if you put like, I need to know your protein target every day, how many calories every day, which is ideally the best thing, but that requires your clients to be on top of MyFitnessPal religiously every single day. Now, for me, I executed that and I got really good results. All of you guys would execute that because we're PTs. We don't need to be motivated to train. Do you know what I mean? So you take action. Your clients won't fill in a really detailed check-in form, right? So be careful what it is and keep it short and sweet. Again, be mindful that if it's going to take them 15 minutes, chances are they're not going to do it. I hated doing mine, but I did it because I was dedicated. So keep it simple and just ask little punchy questions. But my one will definitely give you some ideas. It's a good traffic light system. It's like, are you in the red, the green, the orange? Red means there's a problem that we need to fix. Amber, I'm okay, but I might be lacking a few different areas. Green, I'm good to go. You know, your weight's in there. It's combined with progress photos that I did on Trainerize as well. And you can see the graph. Like, it was detailed, but that's online coaching for you. That's why, again, be careful with what you do with apps as a face-to-face trainer, because people are paying you guys for your time. And I don't want you to sort of over-deliver in your time that you're giving these guys with a lot of programs and a lot of back-end systems that will take you hours and hours to do. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense, but I'll send you the check-in form example. Any other questions, guys? Hopefully that's helped. Damo or Tash, yeah.
Yep, just a quick one. I sent a message to you about it earlier. Obviously with our schedules and everything else, with obviously clients and everything else, what's the best way to implement being able to make sure, obviously with us working mornings, evenings, trying to fit all this stuff in, your policies as far as if those that are doing early morning sessions as well as doing evenings, as far as your cutoff times to allow downtime. So obviously we teach our clients about making sure they're getting enough sleep, for example.
Yeah.
So for myself, my latest session I finish is about 7 o'clock at night, and I get home by about 8 o'clock because I try to be in bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock because I'm up at 4:45. If I go anything later than that, then I'm struggling. I'm not getting struggling to get my downtime to be able to sleep, to then be able to be functional. What's the way around it to being able to then manage that?
To give you, so what's the best way to give yourself enough time to be functional, basically, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
So this is what I recommend everyone to do, right? So if you need Tash as well, I'm more than happy to give you this. I think you need to go through your ideal week. It's time management. That's what you need here.
Yep.
So message me on Facebook Messenger, and anyone that wants this now, go on to Facebook Messenger right now and just message me, unlock stage 6. Don't say hi Simon, nothing, just unlock stage 6. That will get the team to unlock it for you. And inside there, we create an ideal work week. And that's where you basically budget the time. I go through those things that I told you about, consults, your time for PTs and local business partnerships, calls, social media. It's all in there. And what it will get you to do is make up an ideal week that you can then put and implement into a calendar, which we use as Google Calendar. You put it side by side with what you're currently doing, and then you can overlap the two, and then gradually we turn your shit calendar into your ideal one, right? And I think you need to take that task and do that. I think other people that are on this call that this would be really useful for is Tammy, definitely. Lockie, 1,000,000%, because your time management shit. you don't mind me saying it, right? Michael, maybe. Ray, I think you'd enjoy doing it. Damo, definitely. I think everyone else is on point. You know I love you, Lockie, by the way. So yeah, look, that's what I recommend you do. Just say unlock stage 6 if you want it, then you can have that. It's a really good important task. I'm just going to quickly here, guys. Again, thanks for everyone being around here, because this one was always going to go over. I'm just going to go through the rest of the list in the chat. So Josh before put, well, hang on, who have we got here? Check-ins on clients and testimonial posting. We've discussed that. That was from Alex. Charmaine, create a list of things to do for your day ahead. Tick off each one as you go. Charmaine likes to sort of budget her calendar daily. I personally could never do that. What I do is I set alarms though throughout my day for calls and stuff. You probably heard one go off just before. So that's what I do. Josh, assign pre-built programs and make slight adjustments if needed. That's a really good back-end system, that one. And again, you just do that in your once a month, right, block of when you want to give people some programs. But the key is the program's working, they're getting results on a PT session log. As a face-to-face trainer, don't change programs. Calls, yep, Tanya, definitely, we discussed that one. Team meetings with his trainers, that's Dan. And yeah, that's for Dan. I mean, you guys that have leverage, you don't really need too much from me because we've got it personally under control. Reminder messaging and booking. So Tash, this is for you. This is a big no-no. It's a big time consumer. It's a waste of time. And it's a freaking burden if you do it manually. However, it's really hard to actually automate this one. Reminder messages and booking confirmations for clients and consultations. First and foremost, half of that we can automate. Consultations, like we went through Blade, who's going to have a lot of automated ones come through with his text message. You're always using Calendly software. Is anyone not using Calendly for consults here? Okay, Tam, we need to get this will help you massively. Go on.
Can I tell you why?
Yes, you can.
I use Square Appointments.
Yes.
Like I'll show you right now.
Does it automate follow-ups?
Yes. So it automatically sends 24 hours before, because I chose 24 hours, a confirmation message.
Yeah, perfect.
The issue with then using Calendly on top of that is it's not linked. So if people then can't see my calendar and see when they can book in, this way I can still send them a link to book in, and then they can see my available times. Square,
so therefore Square Appointments or whatever, just as good as Calendly. I wouldn't worry. Like I'd still use that as long as your calendar function you're using has an automated reminder function to it. Now, for consults, it's the most important people that need reminding. So make sure you're running your consults through Square Appointments, or Calendly is the most popular one, right? You will need to do the paid version of Calendly, the lowest barrier option possible, to get paid reminders, right? Or to have reminders being sent out. It's really important. Your show rates will go through the roof. Your existing clients, you can send manual text message to, but it takes time. It takes time. Over time, I basically get to the point of going like this, guys, you know when your sessions are, just show up to them, basically. If they don't, like 9 times out of 10 people will show up to messages, and this is an example of a back-end system that you do, or back-end task that you don't want to do because it's time consuming. Basically, I would get to the point where it's like, you know, they're either going to not show and tell you there'll be a no-show, or they'll show. So as long as your consults are reminded to show, which is automated, I wouldn't send reminder messages to existing clients because they're going to be doing the same time each week. It should be part of their schedule, part of their calendar. Chasing up check-ins for programs. This is another really good one. Again, I wouldn't put that as part of a mental burden because we all want our clients to succeed. What I would do is this. Someone doesn't do a check-in. I know right now 15, 20 clients that haven't done check-ins like I've said to you before. All right. I know that they're there. Some people are busy, but if people don't do check-in forms, it just shows you they're not prioritizing it. Plain and simple. I don't care what anybody says. Check-in form's not done. It's not prioritized. It means you're not taking the time to do it. And a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll receive the email. They'll open up the email, just like they'll receive the check-in from me. They'll open up the notification. Oh yeah, I'll get back to Simon later. Oh yeah, I'll get back to Tasha's check-in later. Forget about it because the notification to notify them to do it is gone. So therefore they forget, which just shows it's not priority because you don't forget brushing your teeth, I hope, or anything that is a priority, right? Do you know what I mean? You don't. People don't forget priority. You don't forget to freaking feed your kids. Oh shit, I forgot to feed my kids today. He must be hungry. Like, you know, like, come on, you know, right? Think about check-ins as the same thing. If they're not doing them, you know that they're not prioritizing it, which means there's probably something in here you need to talk about. So don't chase them up, talk about it in their sessions. Another big one, Damo and Tash and everyone, use your PT sessions, the time that they're paying you for, to do as much of this stuff as possible, ideally. Just quickly, but little prompts, do you know what I mean? Check in, get it done, do you know what I mean? Training or nutrition, get it done. Okay, what do we got now? I've realized after you asked that I'm slacking as I don't have anything I can think of to make sure I do 100% every day, week to improve your business. It's a matter of choice paralysis. Yeah, 100%. It is about it. Look, it's perfection paralysis. Dude, you're a perfectionist, Blade, right? We've got to the bottom of that, right? Like Dan Pardo said before, a lot of people can get screwed over by perfection, which paralyzes growth, right? There's no such thing as perfect, right? You can idolize something to be perfect, but dude, at the end of the day, execute the small list that we've made today. And that's the most important stuff. If I can tell you right now, if you don't execute all the stuff in your head, you won't have an issue. But if you don't execute the stuff we've talked about today, you will, right? That's my highlight for that one. Gym calls, that's for you separately, Tash, because obviously you're doing calls for the gym. You're just going to have to put that in the time that you do them for. Charmaine put PT session logs, reminder text, answering clients' inquiries, replying to leads. There you go. Check-ins, social content, check-in with Simon, clients, sign-ups and setups, Google Calendar, booking consults. These are all things I think we've gone over now enough. Focus on the ones that are really important. For you guys as well, put in there somewhere to touch base with me. I can only presume that when people don't touch base with me, they're either not prioritizing it, or they're just freaking busy. Or if it goes on for 1 or 2 or 3 weeks, chances are you're screwed. But again, like I say to people, I can't read your mind, but I know for a fact that there's something wrong. So just remember to check in with your coach. Yeah, the non-negotiable is the weekly webinar. That's definitely something as well put in, especially for all you guys who always attend, like keep your attendance up. And yeah, you can only help people that want to be helped, definitely. Check-ins to get engaged and keep you accountable, yes. I think that's pretty much everything realistically now. I think we'll finish where we started. Damo, does that give a lot more clear clarity about what to eliminate and everyone? Does that give you clarity on what to eliminate?
Yeah, it does big time. Big time.
Okay. Tam, were you going to say anything there? No, you're okay. Okay, question time for anybody else at all about anything. The main thing's time management. If you want to unlock, message me and the team will get it unlocked for you. But yeah.
I had one question. Sorry, it's actually a different question. I wanted to know, like, when people are doing their pre-exercise questionnaire, how they help people unlock really why they want to start their fitness journey and really get in there, because I feel that I'm not really getting in.
Yeah. Okay. This is a very, very good one. I get this quite a lot. Does anyone want to enlighten on that? Anyone? I know, I would say if there was the most, I don't know, I'd say Damien here is the most experienced trainer. I'd say Aaron, slightly but different niche. But then again, Damien, we're not taking a lot of consults because we're kind of full at the moment. But is there anything you can do before I do shine light on that for Ray?
Yeah, it's actually a really interesting question, because over the years, I've gotten very deep with people as to like their why, and we know that, you know, whatever they say on the surface, there's lots of layers underneath as to the real reasons why they want help and pain points. I sort of feel like as a coach over the years, I tried to dig deeper and deeper and deeper, but it didn't really improve the process, or it didn't really help the end result. It's like, I think sometimes it's understanding that there is more there, and over time you'll build that trust and you'll get to the point where, I know there's a lot of coaches in the first consult, they're trying to dig deep. And if you dig deep and if you trigger people and you hit their emotions, like, that's where we say, yes, it can be emotional selling and you get into the real point. But sometimes people aren't willing to open that far up, or it triggers them and it sends them like totally the other way, it sends them running. So I sort of find that, you know, as great coaches, it's like, we want to know what their goals are and what's their reasons for being here. And I guess it's asking a few questions to try to dig a little bit. But as you go, like you said, it's like, as the weeks go on, you'll see them be super motivated, you'll see them drop off. And it's at those sort of points we can ask different questions, or when they're faced with challenges or their expectations aren't being met because they're not losing weight, you know. So I sort of keep the questions pretty simple at the start. I don't go digging too deep, if that answers the question a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Because I do know I'm digging in deep, and they tell me enough, they'll say something like, it's my mental health, and then they'll sort of outline a couple of things, and then I, like you just said, I guess understanding that there's more to it, and then just leaving it for the time being, because like you said, you know, no one's going to just, I suppose, open up and tell you everything when they've just met you. So that's perfect answer. Thank you.
It's like one of those things, and I'm sure no worries. And I'm sure we've all had these conversations with Simon, right? Where Simon is a great listener, and he asks, like, he doesn't say much, but he asks the right question at the right time. And we just start talking, and then we listen to ourselves, and then we can hear our own problems. You know what I mean? And over time, if you say the thing over and over enough times, you realize, oh yeah, it's actually me that's the problem, you know? So it's like Simon could ask us the deepest questions and get to tell us exactly why, but you know, it's too much too soon. So I think that's being, you know, just allowing a new person to feel understood, to feel heard, to feel acknowledged, to know that there is a way forward is the biggest thing to establish with them. And that's why, you know, when we look at all our systems and processes, have those processes that along the way we will really uncover the problems, and, you know, not just fix the symptoms, get to the root cause. And that can be for some people in a month or two, that can be 6 months down the track. Like, I've had some clients that have been training them for 2 years, and at the 2-year mark, they just flick a switch and then they achieve all these great results. But it's, yeah, you know, it's like you can't tell them something they're not ready to hear. So, but yeah, like, it's real funny. I feel like the more I know, like the less I have to say, if that makes sense. When I was learning all this stuff, I felt like Tony Robbins. I'd go and speak and say all these motivational things. Now there's a lot more listening than talking. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Thank you.
amazing. That's amazing, bro. One thing I was told recently by my wife when speaking with a coach who will be making an entrance into Pinnacle soon, which is exciting, is that I learned over time to use my mouth and my ears in the right proportion, right? So people that speak and ask a million questions and try to get everywhere, it's too much, man. Like, a lot of people can actually undo themselves in the consultation process before actually getting started with anything just by speaking too much. Listening is an amazing quality, like a pause, just listening, asking a question and then just pausing, right? It's a really, really good quality to have. And basically what I would say to you is this: you might want to put a question inside your pre-exercise questionnaire, which just subtly, softly pre-frames that here at the gym, we deal with a lot of guys that have got, anxiety, that have got, they've got problems going on. And I just want to let you know that this part of the mind, part of our session today is I just want to let you know that you're safe here, and that that my intentions are to try and improve you, in the best way possible. I'm not saying that you need to talk about if you have any mental blockages or anything like that and expect that everyone does, because not everyone does. You might want to put just a little question in. You can bounce off with me with this one if you want to, about just to let people know that feel safe here. If there's anything on your mind that's really been holding you back, and this is why you showed up today, this is your opportunity to tell me, and I just want to let you know that you can confide in me. Because a PT is not just a physical trainer, it's also a psychological one. Blade, you like that one, huh? You still using it?
Yeah, I'm still trying to get using it in the consultation process. I try to remember to use it because it worked once, and if it worked once, it's going to build it.
I remember that you were like, you used this one, like, oh bro, I used that psychological one. I signed the client up, and then it's not worked since. But like I would honestly highlight that. Just say here about being a PT, and this is where you could do it, Ray. I just want to highlight, a lot of people hire personal trainers for the physical aspect. I just want to let you know that here at Jets, well, what I offer, what we offer here at Jets, is that physical training is obviously something, but there's also a psychological aspect. So the PTs that we are here, or the PT that I am, there's a large psychological aspect to it as well, which helps people, confront fears, overcome adversity, or overcome anxiety or other things they've got going on. So I just want to let you know that in today's session, you can be 100% you. And they'll love that. When someone hears shit like that, no wonder they signed up with Blade, right? But I'm telling you, you tell people like that's like amazing. They'll go, I've never heard a PT saying anything as deep as that before.
I like that. That's great.
It's so good. So
Yeah.
good. And then it means you can you be yourself. Do you know what I mean? You can be yourself around them, and they'll feel like they can be themselves with you. I'm telling you, it'll instantly give you a bottom end conversion rate increase. I guarantee you'll increase conversion rates by saying that. Like, say most personal trainers are physical, right? You could even just use what I say. Like, there's 3 types of personal trainers. Most personal trainers are physical. They focus on putting people through workouts. Then you've got personal trainers, which is in the name, where they take things personally. But what I like to look at us as is psychological trainers too. It's not putting you through a physical workout. It's about getting to understand you as a person and you mentally, because there's a lot of things in here why you're probably here today that you want to overcome, which are holding you back. And I just want to let you know that you can be yourself around me, and I'm here to help you overcome. Yeah. It's fucking huge. That right there is massive. If you put that into everyone's conversion, into everyone's consultation process, holy shit, the industry would be different. But then most of the PTs in this industry don't give a shit about psychological stuff, so it is what it is. But with that being said, guys, hour and a half here. Thank you. And hopefully there's a lot of value. I've got meetings. I'm going to love you and leave you. But with that being said, that's it. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thank you very much.
That's it. Speak to you soon, guys. Well done.